bụ Igbo ekele m unu. Asị m ndụ mmiri ndụ azụ mmiri ala azụ ahụ. Egbe bere ugo bere kesi bi ebila akwụkwọ ya okirikiri ka a na-agba ukwu ọsọ rịarị. From the Directorate of Culture, Amadioha Sirimu, High Prince Ugochinyere. Ka m si na-ewetara unu ozi ọma nke taa nke na-elekwasị anya n'ihe dị mkpa n'ala Igbo, n'omenala Igbo, nke a na-akpọ OSU. Ihe gbasara OSU a ka anyị ga-atụle taa. Ihe gbasara OSU a ka anyị ji eleba anya n'omenala, otu OSU jiri n'akwụkwọ nsọ. Ihe gbasara OSU n'ala Igbo enwetago ọtụtụ okwu, ma nke bụ eziokwu ma nke na-abụghị eziokwu. Kama n'ụbọchị taa ka anyị na-eleba anya na ihe ahụ bụ OSU n'ala Igbo ọ bụ gịnị. A na-etu OSU a otutu aha ụzọ abụọ, OSU nke a maọbụ OSU nke ọzọ, but OSU bụ OSU. Ọ gịnị bụ OSU? Ka OSU a jiri mmekọta mmadụ ma ọ mekọta kọlchọ ala Igbo. In Igbo culture, we are discussing an important thing today which has to do with the topic OSU. This OSU has a misconception in the minds of people out there. And as an important issue in our culture, we feel it's the right time to address the issue of OSU. Round ala Igbo, round the eastern region, we have a culture against infidelity. And in the culture against infidelity or against taboo in the land is what brought about the OSU, which we are going to discuss today. We are independent of governance. We are independent of culture and any other government out there in the world. Learn from what our forefathers left as a system of governance. And these principles help in guiding our people towards the right course according to the culture of the eastern region. OSU. What is OSU? Gịnị bụ OSU? How is this OSU classified in the culture? N'omenala Igbo, ọtụtụ ndị Igbo na-akọwa na OSU bụ onye ewere nye mmụọ. Ọ bụrụ na onye ahụ ewere nye mmụọ bụ OSU, that means onye dibịa na-agọ mmụọ bụkwa OSU. That means nwa ahụ amụrụ kufi ya na chọọchị ọ bụkwa OSU because onye ya mmụọ. Hen na chọọchị bụ mmụọ. That means nwa ahụ ukwu OSU. Ehụnụ ya, anyị aghọta ihe OSU bụ. What do I mean by that in my language? OSU is classified as someone who has been given or handed over to spirit. That is the misconception out there about the word OSU. He who has been handed to spirit, which is wrong. And I said, if OSU is he who has been handed over to spirit, that means the man who appeases that same spirit is also OSU. That means the child that was taken to church and handed over to a spirit there is also OSU because he has been handed over to a God or a spirit. So that becomes the wrong idea of what OSU is in Igbo culture. Now let me tell you what OSU is in Igbo culture. OSU is generated by cause. In the ancient time, when someone commits a sacrilege and an abomination, an eyesore that is irreparable by nature or by cause or by damage, irreparable, at will, irreparable damage at will against a person or community of persons. Now, such a traitor will be banished or separated from the activity with his people. By so doing, he has been separated, and all have cursed him or her for such act, for such abominable act, for such treachery, for such commitment, for such evil-mindedness, and all have laid curse on him. Now, why we are not authorized to marry or associate with them is that so that the curse will not follow your lineage. It was not cursed by one man. It's not that they use or for and say it has been cursed. No. OSU. Metamme. What we call metamme. OSU is onye metamme abụrụ ọnụ. Metamme abụrụ ọnụ. Ọ bụghị onye nwere anya agbara. Now, what is this in metamme? And how does it reflect to us when we go contrary? In the modern world of today, our youth no longer consider or discern those tribes of which those curses has been laid on for one act of treachery or the other. I always use the Goni people as an example, because though we are the failure of the Eastern agitation, in Eastern nation or an Eastern region, we usually, when we want to marry, we start asking questions. Is this family OSU? Have they gone contrary to the will of the land? If it is, they say you are said not to marry. But if peradventure you close eye and marry, the marriage at first might seem blossom, enjoyable, or happy. But at the end or at the middle of the marriage, the mysteries behind the OSU will now begin to manifest in that marriage. Like I said, I also use Ogoni people as an example, and I want to cite another community in the east that also you can find OSU apart from Ogoni, is Isukwato areas. You can find OSU them in those areas. That's why in Igbo land there is a place we say, some tribe will say, we don't marry here because of this. We don't marry this tribe because of this reason. We don't go to this tribe so that we will not get into it. Now, that curse continues in the generation of the cursed. And if you intermarry them, that is to say, you have brought in curse into your own life. And the children whatsoever you born from that OSU, number one, at the time they will usually give you one son. If at all you try to get, is one son. And at the time the son was supposed to be useful to you, the son will die. The pain of it only will keep you into a trauma condition that even that you die will be better for you than living. If you go to communities, you will see these things I told you. When they were born, OSU Pikin, a child born by an OSU in any community, is never useful to that community. They are the children that brings calamity to that community. That is the fruit of OSU. They bring calamity because all so you have reproduced that medame, and now so they will be doing that medame, which is calamity. Medame is calamity. They keep causing calamity in the community, in the family where they are born into, in the community where they are born into, in the kingdom where they are born into. They are good for nothing other than destruction. That is who they are. That is how the OSU come in. That is why you see in Ogoni land they can never agree in any day. That is the problem. Always fighting because they have been caused to do that. So if you marry from them, the child they will give to you will be a wayward and destructive child. That is what OSU produces. They can never raise leaders. They can never raise good children. They will always raise criminals. Those who always have the goal to shoot and kill one another. That is what OSU brings. Now, on Babi, you will see a promising young man coming, and he is the only son in the family, maybe with other women attached to them. This is what OSU produces. At the time, the woman or the parents might be alive, expecting that their child has come up to take care of them. The child will die or will be cut off. They say one community in which don't come. No, it is as a result of where we marry. That is, those things we avoid in the marriage between OSU and the Diala. Now, if the Diala goes to bring in a cursed woman into a family, that means you have brought curse instead of blessing. And you might feel it's love. Yes, the love will blind you. You say, yes, churches has useless our thinking and we no longer have focus of reality and truth. So we follow the church and they are flapping preachings in the church. But at the end of the day, when the suffering will come, that pastor is no longer there to face the consequences with you. He must have died. You must have moved away to somewhere else and feel that your life is going. All of a sudden, things begin to cut you off gradually. Until you are down. And watch, go and investigate any family that OSU. If there is any man or woman who is said to have been great or important in that community that came from the line of whomsoever is called OSU, you can't find it in anywhere in Igbo land. Whatsoever thing they put bed to dies and perishes. Go and check. So our youths, who today is where I find my reap. Yes, so it's good you find your reap there. But then, that reap you find, is that will keep you alive or it will kill you. That is exactly what happened to Adam. The reap of Adam neither to kill him nor keep him alive. So, if you like, go find your reap with OSU and embrace OSU to live with. It is your business, but I promise you this. All the children you gave birth to, none will be useful. If you like, train them in the highest university in the world and put them in presidential palace, they can't be useful. That is what OSU produces. If you like, bury them inside the wealth, Babu. They will rather destroy it than survive with it. That is what OSU produces. A woman OSU produces for Diala. The child that comes from the womb of OSU to a Diala does not stand in that land. Over time, they will be wiped away, and the parents will live to bury all the children. This same thing happened in a sacrilege where a brother marries a sister in the same community. These are part of the experiences we see. And when we have grown old and have forgotten how we begin our life, and then that is when you feel you have finished your church, you are coming back to the village where you are being born. That is the rock that guides you. And you are nowhere standing. Where will you be standing then? Is it in the church room? Or will you be standing in your community? That is when your own deeds will count on you. So it is time we neglect and leave what so flapping of the church room and approach our God through our culture. Then we will know the truth and we will embrace that truth. Minus culture. I have rose to a bishop cadre. I have rose to the arch and canonical order in the Anglican and whatever Masonic, whatever group in the world. There's no group I join, I don't get to the highest order of it. And all the practice is culture. When a prophet will come to your house and open the earth and bury one substance or the other and tell you to cover it and you begin to pray, he say he's a general overseer. Is he not a native doctor? Is that act of assignment not a native doctor's work? So are you now saying that your GOs are native doctors in disguise? When you go, they give you an assignment. They say that assignment in the church. Is it not what a native doctor gives you? So are you now saying that native doctors have come in disguise to the church to be giving us assignments so that we meet up our problems? This is where we fail. So this spiritual practice that you see in the church is the philosophy of the culture of Igbo man. That is what they transmitted in the church. The philosophy, I repeat, the philosophy of the culture of Igbo man is what the spiritualists in the church is using. And we have come to correct it. You cannot continue to bastardize our culture in the form of your religion. I think we will have to begin to sue some people when the time comes. So what are we talking about, OSU? I want to encourage the young men out there, please pay attention to the kind of woman you are going to marry. It does not end at the time of your youth as you enjoy and fly around. That is not where the marriage cycle starts. The marriage cycle starts after your birth of children. And you now want to watch them, see them become what they are meant to be. And you see them, instead of growing, you see them diminishing and whiling away like a flower whose time is ended. How will you feel? Imagine the trauma that you will be into. And imagine the kind of sensible course that you bring to yourself, where you will be reasoning how your fellow community dwellers will feel about you, who have labored, and there is no where to find the fruit of his labor. OSU will always give you one man, cannot cross one man. And if anything happens, the man will be ripped off. You are empty. Every other woman that is there might seem to marry you, yes, but go and watch where they are. It is not well. This is how evil spread in our environment. If we can stop this, we will control menace around us. You see, the system that our fathers used to control it is in the Bible that we read. But today, they told it does not exist. So please, as a youth, pay attention. For whosoever findeth a wife, findeth a good thing, and obtain favor from the Lord. If your marriage is not giving you the favor you deserve, then you are at the wrong marriage. Yes. Say that High Prince Dr. Charles Chukwuemeka Amanze told you that if your marriage does not give you favor, then your marriage is the wrong one. Then if you marry the wrong woman who do not have the right character, then examine him very well. OSU is part of his her existence. Before you marry, make sure you investigate the root of the woman you are marrying so that you can enjoy the favor of marriage and live in your marriage. One of the favors of marriage is that your children will grow old, is that your children will be prosperous, is that your children will become useful in the community wherewith they were born. Minus that, they will become hoodlums, wastes, treacherous, and destructive in the environment where they are born. So choose one when you are trying to make up your home. That will determine the kind of woman you want to marry. Those things, such women also go outside, because sometimes when the land is said no, that the deer, because of how you are associated with the land, you cannot allow you to bear your child. The woman will go outside without you knowing to bring in the child in the house, you believe that you marry. Majority of them who are first sons of communities are not actually the true first son. I see in my community, those who came to their marriage with the pregnancy, and today they have been born, they all assume powers of leadership and held the offer of the land. Since the time they begin to hold the offer was the time Nsirimu became what it is today, where evil reign, because the wrong people have come on power. Those who regulated it from old paid attention and never make the mistake. But today, politics has made us to give who is not the Allah or for of the Allah. What do you expect? You expect setback. You expect confusion. You expect backbiting. You expect the chiefs never be able to say the truth. That is what is happening in the kingdom where I come from, the Muslim autonomous community. I think everyone should begin to put this down and correct this mistake. In whatever community you come from, identify those, how they were born, who were their parents, where did they come from, before you can say, come and take the mantle of leadership. Thank you very much, brothers and sisters. I wish you well. I want you to subscribe with us. Eastern Youth Network. Today, we've discussed OSU. OSU is not a person given to spirit. OSU is a cost person in the community who the spirit cost and who man have cost. Those are OSU. And when we entangle with them, the end result of such a union of marriage is never a good story to write home about. And I wish you well. I want you to make these corrections. I want you to look out for it. So that when something around is happening in the community or the compound where you come from, examine properly, you will see that this mistake were part of what we discussed today. I wish you well. I want you to succeed as I wish myself a success. Subscribe with us, and we will always bring you good informations from the throne of the High Prince, the Directorate.